welcome to the Joy of Editing with Dave Kelly. On today's episode, Topaz Studio 2 again. We're working through that whole list of filters inside the stylistic section. Today we're looking at the Radiance filter. It's a really interesting filter, and the image you see on your screen is one we're going to be working on today. It's going to look a little bit different, but I just thought I'd show you this just to give you a little taste of what's ahead. So let's start looking at this Radiance filter, and let's get started. All right, let's come up to Add Filter, and then come down to Radiance and see what this Radiance filter will do for us, okay? We have two different Radiance types. We have light and dark, and of course we have our opacity slider, we have our blend modes, we have this little icon. If you make yourselves a adjustment that you really like and you want to save as a preset, you can click here and save it as a preset. Of course, if you click presets down here at the bottom, your presets live down here, and you got a bunch of different presets. Let's just click on one just for the heck of it. Let's click this one on here. That looks pretty cool. That's a neat preset. Now, of course, with these presets, you have this apply and you have a mount. So you can take this amount and you can pull it back. So say if you just wanted a little bit of that in there, you could go like that. All right, or take it up to full strength, whatever you like. For now, we're gonna do our own thing so I can show you how these sliders all work inside here, these adjustments. So we'll click on presets and we'll get rid of those adjustments. Okay, now we have the opacity slider, we have the blend modes, we have the little icon to save presets. So if you make some adjustments that you like and you want to save that out as a preset, you can just come up here and click this icon and save that out as a preset. I need to digress here for a couple seconds. I forgot to show you something about the presets because they've changed something here. So let's go back down to presets. Any preset that you save yourself, okay, your own preset, like this one's mine here called Light and Airy. All right, and you'll notice you have a little pencil here. This is where you can edit your preset. So if you click that, you can come here, change the name or give it a description. I'm going to hit cancel for that. If you want to delete your presets, you can just come to the preset that you want to delete and just click the little trash can that'll delete it. You'll notice the pre-baked in presets from Topaz you cannot touch. So I just wanted to point that out. So let's click on presets here, and now we'll get started on the adjustments. Now you'll notice that we have two types of Radiance. Radiance type, we have light and we have dark, similar to the glow filter. We have a strength slider, so let's move that to the right and watch what happens. Notice how the image starts getting that radiance feel to it, just like light emanating, which is a really beautiful look for photographs and things, which is really nice, and this is a good application for that. But if you wanted to do something a little more artistic, a little more expressive, keep taking that strength slider to the right and watch what happens. See those little lines? It's grabbing the edges and the contours of your image. That light, isn't that cool? And if you keep moving it up, it'll keep getting more intense and more and more and more intense. So we can drag it the whole way up, and you can see it goes really crazy there. So you have a lot of range here that you can work with, and just slide that slider till you get to a point that you like. And I kind of liked it like right around in here, and I thought that was kind of really nice. Let me maybe just back it off just a little bit, maybe right there. Now we have width. We can adjust the width of those. Width. That's a hard word for me to say, width of that slider. So I'm going to move it to the right and see how they're getting thicker. So there's some more cool looks, and that's nice. But for me, I'm thinking, for this image, I'm thinking a very narrow width. Maybe somewhere right around in there, I think looks really nice. And it always helps to whisper when you're doing this. Now you can adjust the length of those radiance points. So let's move this to the right, and they'll spread out. See that? If you watch this one line right here, see it getting shorter? Okay. See how it starts to shoot out? Okay. So that's cool. So that's another look you can get there. So you can adjust that, and you can pull it back, make them shorter, depending on what kind of a look you want. You can pull it the whole way back, and that looks really kind of nice. Look at these trees in here. I think that's taking on a really nice look in here. Then I may want to pull the strength back a little bit. Get a nice wispy, airy feel. But maybe a little bit extra length on those may help. And that kind of like smooths it out and makes it a little more glowy as well. But please, by all means, experiment, because you're never going to know what these things will do. You just got to play with it. Okay, and then you have a curl here. Now let me take the strength the whole way up so you can see this. I'm going to take this curl and start to move it. Can you see what's happening? Those lines are turning into like little curly cues, if that's a good word for it. So there's another kind of look. So the possibilities here are really endless, so you can do all kind of cool stuff. For my vision, though, I don't think I want any of the curls in there. If anything, just a very minute amount. I don't know. Maybe somewhere in there, but that's way too much strength, so let me pull that back. Again, I'm looking for that nice soft winter feel. And of course you have this opacity here, watch. So you can start to pull that back if you want to too. Looks like a bunch of constellations out here in the sky. There's Orion up there. It's pretty fun, huh? Let me just give it a little more strength. Maybe somewhere right around in there. And then of course you have the suppressed weak. Any lines that are weaker, if you move this to the right, they'll start to fall away. So you can play with that and get just the look that you're looking for. You might pull the strength back a little bit. Maybe somewhere in there. I'm just looking at these trees down in here. They're really looking nice to me. So I'm thinking maybe somewhere around there. And then you have the effect coverage. Now this just starts to pull it away from the edges. Watch when I start to pull this back. See that? The edges start to get softer. And then move it to the right. We're going to fill the whole image up. So for this image, I think it might look nice with a little bit of that edge softer like that. So maybe something around there. Now here's a cool slider called fade. If you move this slider to the right, the image itself will start to drop off. The further you move it, the more it drops off. So watch as I move it. The image is starting to drop off and the image is going to turn, after a while it'll turn to solid, almost like solid black. In fact, I think I have to take the strength up the whole way. And I forgot to show you saturation here. So the saturation, you can add saturation to those lines. Let me pull that the whole way back. And here's my problem. My opacity is turned the whole way down. That's why I couldn't see the black. I'm like, why aren't I seeing the black? And I'm making mistakes here. And so take advantage of these mistakes because I'm sure you're going to make them too. You'll say, how do I get that to look black? I like that look. Well, make sure your opacity is the whole way up or else it'll look like that. And it depends what look you're looking for. Now, that looks kind of fun, but I just wanted to show you how you can just totally drop out the background image. When you're in the light mode, your background will turn to black. When you're in the dark mode, your background will turn to light. Makes sense, right? And so let's pull this fade back. Again, I'm looking for my artistic expression here, which is kind of this fade the whole way back to the left, so it's not fading at all. And I definitely want to pull my strength back and get that nice, soft winter. Imagine it's Christmas Eve, it's getting ready to snow. We can maybe add some snow to this image. That would be a cool effect. Not on this tutorial, but at some point we'll add some snow to an image. All right, so there's that. That's light. Next we're going to go to the dark. All right, now we're going to try the dark. So we're on light now, so before we do that, let's click on the little reset icon right here to reset this effect. Get us back to where we were. Hey, and look, I do have snow in this picture. All the snow turned to those little lines and things, which was kind of fun. So now let's click on dark. All right, and now let's play with these sliders. So let's take the strength, let's move it to the right. And that's cool, right? So now we're adding dark lines, a dark radiance, if there's such a thing as a dark radiance. But look at that. That's so cool, man. That is really, really artistic. And I can move it the whole way to the right. I can take it back to the left and just look how it just starts to like fade the image a little bit, and that's really pretty. Now imagine we could get something like this, and then we could add like a brightness contrast layer above it, or a basic adjustment layer, and lighten the whole image up and play with colors and do all kinds of things. But today we're just looking at this radiance filter, and imagine all the different combinations of filters. But I'm showing you one filter at a time, but that looks really cool. And then of course you have the width, so we can make the width, I can't say it, of the lines wider. Okay, if we go that way. And now we can take the length and draw that to the right. In this case, everything gets real smeary. Okay, let me see what happens if I take the strength up. Maybe we'll see. Now let me take the... Yeah, the lines are getting longer, but when they get longer, they're also getting sort of a glowy look to them, which kind of looks really nice, and that's a nice little look there. So, but play with these sliders because you're going to get really cool effects, and you will never know what effects you could get if you didn't pull sliders around. Okay, and every image is going to interact differently with this Radiance filter. Okay, and let's pull that back, and let's take the curl, and see the images start getting lines start to get curly. Let's see here. Let me take the... Well, there's the width. Let's take the width up. Look at that. That looks really cool, almost like stained glass. Now, you can see the curls in there. So watch when I take the curl back. The curls will start to go away. Take it up. It gets real curly. Okay. And then maybe take the strength back a little bit here, so we can see that. Oh, that's really pretty too. I get excited every time I slide a slider here. Forgive me, please. So let's move this to the right. And you can see them. There's a little bit of a curl is coming in those lines there. And they soften up a little bit too. So this kind of fine tunes too and softens up and does all kind of really cool things. All right, so let's do that. Now we have saturation. Oh, before that, almost forgot, suppress weak. So we can drag this to right and any of the weak lines go away. So look at that. All kind of adjustments here, and you can get just the look that you're looking for. All right, and then we have saturation. Move it to the right, and we'll add saturation to those radiant lines, or take it back. The saturation for the image remains, but this is just a saturation that comes with the radiance lines. Okay, so I'm just going to pull that. I'm going to pull it off. And of course, we have the effect coverage. We can pull it in, soften it up. Now look at that. That looks really pretty. Makes those edges look glowy and radiant and kind of soft and just slightly out of focus. That's really pretty, and I like that. Now, here's the fade. But before I fade, let me run this effect coverage the whole way up so you can see. Take this fade the whole way to the right. Remember, I told you the image will drop out, and now it's turned white. So now you can come up here and turn this into like a sketch and do all kind of crazy things with it. And you can just adjust to your heart's content. Like we have a sketch of these trees right now. And now, of course, we can adjust the width of the lines. Hey, I'm getting better at saying that, I think. The length of the lines. Okay, see they're getting longer. They turn into a blur when you keep going with them. But there's a point there where they just look really nice and defined. But right around there, that's a nice looking sketch there. Now, of course, the curl, I have the curl up. I can pull the curl in, pull the curl out. And you can see the curls are starting to really pop out there when I move this up. All right. And of course, we have the suppress weak. If I move that, the weaker lines will start to drop away. All right. And I showed you the fade. Oh, and this saturation down here, let's pull the fade the whole way back. Let's get an image that looks half decent here. And that is really pretty. I like that, right? I actually like that a lot. In fact, I could see this with a little bit of extra brightness in it, and I think that would look really lovely. Let me pull this coverage back a little bit. Okay, and that looks nice. Now, this saturation is the overall saturation of the image. So we can make the image more saturated, or we can turn it black and white. But remember, this other saturation is just for the lines themselves. But look at that. That makes a nice little sketchy look right there. It's really beautiful, I think. So let's give it a little bit of saturation. Make it nice and soft. It's Christmas Eve. All right. And now let's come and let's add a filter. Let's add a brightness contrast filter here. Let's see what happens if we just lighten this up a little bit. See that? Isn't that nice? I like that right there. And let's play. What if I were to add a AI clear on top of that? Ooh, look, it sharpened it up. Got rid of any noise that was up in there. Let's shut that AI clear off. Let's come up to this eyeball here. Before and after. Look how that sharpened it up. So look, play with these filters. And what if you wanted, I showed you the the flare filter the other day. So what if we wanted a couple stars on these trees? Like it's Christmas in the forest. So let's come here and click on flare. Let's just grab a star and let's pop one star right there and one star there. And look at that. If we got this in the wrong position, we can hold, what was it? The option key. Yeah. And that turns to an X, and hold the option down and click it. Now let me find the center right there. And same with this guy. I'm off center here. What's wrong with you, Dave? Okay, so option, click that. Now I'm just going to click, trying to find the center here. Right there. So we have 2 stars. Now, of course, I can take the opacity and maybe, I'm going to leave it up full because I think that looks really cool. So there it is. I threw a few extra filters in at the end just to show you some of the possibilities. Now, you don't have to just make artistic like images like this, which these are really cool and I love it for this, but you can also just add, imagine like cityscapes, some lights, street lights, cars, the lights on cars, like the tail lights, the red tail lights. They have some examples, I think, on the Topaz website of some of the possibilities you can get out of this thing, and it is really, really awesome. So I really love it. But there it is. That's the Radiance filter. But wait, there's more. Before I go, I got a little crazy. I thought, what would it look like with this little scene? Because I was going with that little Christmas Eve theme. What would it look like if these actual trees had some like lights on out in the forest? Wouldn't that be cool? So I just thought I'd throw a few little Christmas lights on our Christmas trees. So, and I'll end with that. Well, that was the Radiance filter. Now, the one we did, I used with mainly with the dark lines, the dark Radiance, and on the one you saw at the beginning of the show, and this one right here in front of you, this is done with the white line. So you can get different various looks with that Radiance filter. So give it a try. It's really fun. Experiment. And I'm sure you'll come up and discover new things that you thought you never could do before just by playing with those sliders. So really do that. If you like this video today, please give it a like and share it with your friends. And also, if you're not yet a subscriber to my channel, please do so and click that bell notification icon. This way, you'll be informed of all the new training videos that I upload to my YouTube channel. So thanks again for joining me on The Joy of Editing with Dave Kelly, and I'll see everyone right here next time.